Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. Today guys, of course, we are here continuing our Ben 10 journey. This is Ben 10 Season 1 Episode 7, Kevin 11. And at first I thought, that's kind of a strange title, and then it hit me. Wait a minute, Ben 10, Kevin 11. Are we about to meet somebody named Kevin who has an Omnitrix or something similar to the Omnitrix? I don't know. That was just my guess, thinking like, Ben 10, Kevin 11, that's strange, but also very fascinating. So the last episode was bizarre for a couple of different reasons. The mayor was crazy, like, but then he didn't care about anything. He's just like, mind the signs and just looking at stuff, just like with no emotion, no reaction, nothing. And then we had this little critter, Megawatt, and that could duplicate itself, and basically was a menace and causing all sorts of problems and everything. And it tied into, of course, earlier in the episode, actually the beginning of the episode, where Ben was playing a little bit of like a prank and turned into one of the aliens from the Omnitrix to scare that kid and all that kind of stuff. So it all tied in to these Megawatts causing pranks. Also, too, there was an issue after the fact where Turner EST claimed that video. They didn't block it or anything, but they claimed it, saying, you know, whatever they owed some of the footage or whatever that was used. And I thought it was kind of strange because I haven't been hit so far, and all of a sudden I get hit with a claim. So that was kind of bizarre. So I fought back. I'm not really sure on the results yet. I'm still waiting to see back in terms of disputing it, but that was kind of interesting. But interesting nonetheless. That episode was very interesting. I wasn't sure where it was going to go, and it went in a direction. I'm like, okay. But regardless, at the end of it, Ben got pranked by Grandpa Max, and he also learned some new abilities with, what was it, Upgrade, and I forget the Heat guy. I forget what, people have been putting the names, and I'm trying to remember them, but it's kind of hard to remember some of them. But he learned a new ability. He was able to ride on fire, so it was kind of cool. So, Kevin 11, not really sure what's going to happen here, but I'm interested, I'm curious. I have a theory, like I told you guys, so we'll see if that's true or not. Who knows? Anyways, guys, episode 7 of the show, Kevin 11, let's go. Sumo. Tying this back in, okay.
I know what you're thinking, so no sneaking back in.
Yeah, no sneaking. Uh-oh. He was caught.
Nice going, doofus.
I mean, literally, it is his fault. He did not listen. Wow.
If you keep misusing the watch.
It was no big deal.
It was. You got kicked out of the hotel because of your use of it,
No
so.
more Sumo Slammer stuff for 2 weeks. No comics, no trading cards.
This is my vacation too. You can't always.
That's a good point.
You're not
Oh.
my dad.
Uh-oh. Don't go there.
Well, if you owe me one.
What the hell?
I'm Ben.
Kevin.
Wanna play some
Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Nah.
Oh, okay. Accelerate. I think it's the name, right?
How's the hangout?
How'd you get your power?
I was born with it. I'm like an energy sponge.
Okay.
Motors, air
Interesting.
conditioners, lights, batteries.
Yeah. About that.
About, yeah, he ran away, technically. Of course, breaks the lock. Yeah, oh no. Yep, of course they have alarms in there. What the hell? Over a video game? Is it this serious? Apparently it is. Holy shit. That was kind of cool. Holy crap. Uh-oh. SWAT, really?
Time to rev things up.
Holy shit. Okay. He's not dead.
What are you doing with your watch?
This is not good. So now he knows. And he's gone. And they're gonna follow him, of course. Oh shit. About to say. Uh-oh. Right there. They're right there. I think that was them.
That watch lets you do that dragonfly thing whenever you
And none of the aliens.
Not just that one.
And not just that one.
Got the special energies.
It's a time limit thing, and you really should know this to begin with. Oh boy.
I can make it work.
Can't.
Don't partner up. Oh my god, Ben. He's a bad influence. Oh my god, this is terrible.
A money train loaded with cash comes down this track. So
Okay.
when it crashes into the oncoming passenger train, boom! Instant jackpot. No pain, no gain.
You can't do this.
What?
Sure we can.
Okay, I'm glad that Ben's like, wait a minute, what?
Time to go forearms.
He could hit you at any time, but he's not doing it. Wait a minute. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, wait a minute. He's absorbing some of those abilities or something. He's absorbing the energy or something. No fucking way. Oh my god. That's crazy. Okay. Did it work? Okay, it worked, I think. He's holding on for dear life. Uh-oh.
There have been reports of fires breaking out all over the tunnels.
Fires.
Grandpa?
Jump on.
None of this would have happened if you just obeyed me from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's all about trust.
Yep.
I
Oh boy. God, it's so crazy. He's like half Heat Blast. That's the name.
Fly. See what the 39th.
He. What the hell? Uh-oh.
Your power's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you're about to give me some more.
Yep, exactly. Oh my gosh, this is bad. Ooh. He's still mutating. Jesus. Ooh. Good slam.
Get out.
Get out. Jesus. Ben, okay, you gotta think smart, man. You gotta think smart about this. Interesting. I thought he would turn back by now.
I don't have anyone else like you to help me.
Well,
We'll be partners. We'd just be kicking butts for good.
Oh man.
I knew it. He was tricking him. Oh. What the hell just happened?
You're my grandson, and nothing will ever change that. But my trust is something you'll have to earn back. Oh, if they thought I was a freak before, just wait.
Oh shit. Wow. What a great episode of Ben 10. Holy crap. I think we have to begin with Kevin. Makes a lot of sense because literally that's the whole focus of the episode. Because there's some stuff about Ben we need to talk about for sure in terms of his turning against his grandfather and wanting to go on his own and everything. But Kevin. So they establish, right as they introduce him, that he has these abilities to absorb electricity and then send it out. Basically, attack somebody with it. Or defend, but mostly attack because he's not a good person. He's not a good kid. And I think it's interesting because up to this point, I'm trying to think, we haven't met, like, just a human kid in this situation, adult, whatever, that has abilities on their own without any sort of help or something's behind it, you know, or whatever. So this is kind of interesting. So we have Kevin, and then Ben basically starts to follow along with him because he likes the rebellious side of it and the fact that he wants to be out on his own. And he's like, because he even mentions, and which kind of ties into the whole Ben conversation about what he was doing in this episode about, you know, him rebelling and everything, is that I've used the Omnitrix, he said 100 times, which is not true in a sense of what we've seen from the show. Why, like, I've used it 100 times for good. Why can't I use it for myself to help me? It's like, well, it's about how you use it, you know, that's what his grandpa was saying. And so he liked that side of where Kevin was like, no, we're going to use it for our own benefits and stuff. But then Kevin goes, okay, so I can absorb electricity and then use it to attack, defend, whatever. So basically, he's, you know, kind of like Black Lightning in a sense, like a DC hero. Like, it's kind of like Black Lightning in a sense of like that kind of power where lightning is his ability. He can't run fast, but he can use lightning as like an attack method. But then he goes from shaking hands with Ben, is like, we're going to be partners, to now he wants to murder hundreds of people to get cash. Okay. I don't know where that came from, but okay. So they establish his powers, his abilities, and then, of course, which I should have seen coming, he absorbs Ben's abilities. He absorbs Heat Blast abilities, and that's the character because they mention it in the actual episode. And they've mentioned other names, but it's just hard to keep track of them. But Heat Blast. So he becomes like kind of like Heat Blast. He's like half his body turns into Heat Blast, and it was kind of bizarre at first. I'm like, this is kind of weird, but I think it maybe it's due to how much he was actually touching heat blast that Ben was turned into in order for like the transformation, because then we see when he turns into forearms, which he wanted to turn into earlier in the episode, and then the Omnitrix, because people pointed this out, have you noticed the Omnitrix isn't following what Ben wants sometimes? Like he says one and then it gives him another. Well, in this instance, he wanted forearms, it gave him heat blast. Then he turns into stink bug or whatever the name is. I think it's stink bug, but regardless of the name, he then turns into forearms. So the Omnitrix doesn't exactly listen to him, and I think maybe it's because he hasn't really mastered it. Maybe that's the thing. I'm not really sure. But that was funny nonetheless, where he was like, really, I didn't ask for this one, but he has to go along with it because what are you going to do? Well, Kevin absorbs heat blast, and then when he absorbs forearms, he becomes a mutated forearms, and it's really bizarre. And then he's still mutating because he actually holds on, I think, longer to forearms. I'm not really sure how that works exactly, but kind of crazy to see that go down. And then for Kevin to trick Ben and then try to pull the Omnitrix off, and then something happens to where this like green like bubble starts forming around the Omnitrix, and then there's a huge explosion, the bridge falls down, and then it reveals at the end that Kevin has the power, like the fire. And I'm thinking that's hinting that he has maybe the abilities of all 10 aliens within the Omnitrix, because that blast from the Omnitrix, I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe that did something to Kevin because he's able to absorb. So maybe he absorbed all that energy, and that's just my guess. I don't know. So my theory was wrong in terms of Kevin's actual abilities with Kevin 11, but maybe it's hinting that Kevin 11 has the powers now of the 10 different aliens plus his own abilities of absorbing energy or electricity or something to that effect. It seems he can absorb any sort of energy at this point. So maybe, I don't know. This is crazy as shit. It was so crazy to see it go down, but very interesting. And this kind of goes to show, at least for me as a viewer, that Ben is going to continue to do things he's not supposed to. Ben rebelled in this episode. Ben snuck in to play that new sumo game, which they haven't mentioned his obsession and love for these sumo games or whatever, or these cards, since I think episode 2 of the show. I don't think it's been mentioned since. So he sneaks in, and they get kicked out of the hotel, and then he ends up just going out on his own because he doesn't want to be around his cousin or grandpa, and then he runs into Kevin, and then he's absorbed by it. But then I like how where he's like, yeah, let's team up, let's partner up, shake hands, Kevin. And then as soon as Kevin, like right after that, Kevin's like, okay, so we're going to have these two trains run into each other, and we're going to steal cash, we're going to kill people. Ben's like, time out, stop the presses, what? So I'm glad that Ben knew at a certain level where this had to stop, but that just came out, like, that was so bizarre for Kevin to go, okay, we're going to go from this to this in terms of our plans. Holy shit. And then, of course, they had it kind of set up, like, you know, right before they shook hands as partners, Kevin's like, well, give me the Omnitrix. And give it to me. No, even if he could, I'm glad that Ben, of course, it stuck to his wrist. But I'm glad that if it was able to be taken off, I'm hoping that Ben wouldn't have given it to him if he was able to. I don't know. Maybe at that moment he would have, because I think he was in a different mindset. He wasn't thinking clearly. And I like that whole sequence where they go in to steal that video game, and literally the SWAT team. Okay, how important is it if they steal one of those games? They send in 3-4 helicopters, the SWAT team, and they fly around, and he turns into the, I think, stink bug, the name. Anyways, the flying bug that stinks. The kid's like, oh my god, you stink. And they fly around, and Kevin's able to walk a little bit on the face of the Statue of Liberty, and they're flying around New York. I think it's New York, right? I think that's, yeah, New York gets the Statue of Liberty. No, I was like blanking for a second. But then they're televised. It's on like the electronic billboards in Times Square or something like that. It's like, this is really bad. Like, it's never been this publicized of there's an alien creature flying around or an alien. It's like, people, of course, have seen Ben turn into different aliens and stuff, but it's never been to the point where it's being shown to potentially millions of people in the city of New York. This is really bad. So I don't know about repercussions, but the only repercussion really was that Grandpa Max said, you have to earn my trust back. And that's not good. That's not good. I mean, obviously, I think Ben can earn it back. It's just, wow. this is really bad. Like, how bad it got. And they destroyed a bridge in the process. They destroyed a bridge. And Ben never got to play that game. Of course, he didn't get to keep it. You know, the stolen copy, but that whole situation. But I really liked how they approached and how they told the story. I could have literally sat here for another 10, 20 minutes if they would have made a longer version of this. Obviously, it's TV and broadcasting standards, all that kind of stuff. But I really like the introduction to Kevin, and I like his powers and the fact that he's able to turn into a version of Heat Blast in forearms. And so now it's like, what happens next? Because Kevin has to come back, right? He has to return. Because he's too good of a potential villain not to. Because that was so interesting for Ben to go on this rebellious streak for a little bit, and then ultimately it getting really bad because now Kevin can absorb his abilities and shit, and now apparently he has them still retained essentially. It's not good. It is not good at all. What did you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. I saw a couple of you guys commenting saying, I can't wait for you to see this episode. This episode is so good. I can't wait for you to see the next one after I uploaded episode 6. So, yeah, crazy stuff. I'm so glad I'm checking out the show. I cannot wait to see what's next. Kevin, holy shit. I'm actually glad my prediction was wrong about Kevin. I'm glad it was wrong in terms of another version of Omnitrix, because it's actually more interesting what they did with Kevin in this episode in terms of what he actually is. So, what did you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.